Hi, guys. Welcome to the Simple Doesn't Mean Easy podcast. We are here twice a week working at simplifying things in our lives one day at a time, one simple step at a time. I'm your host, Michelle Visser. And today we are talking about the absolute best cup of black tea you will ever have. So, I told you last episode that we were changing some things up, and I was really excited about some things coming on the podcast. Well, I'm going to explain now. There's actually 2 different things that are changing. First of all, well, kind of 3. You might have just heard if you were listening closely, one of the changes. We're going to be putting out an episode twice a week. But here's the fun thing. That second episode every week is going to be a really short little bite, and it's going to be the stuff that I just don't have time for, like anywhere else, just little tiny things answering your questions, basically. Over on Instagram, I interact so much with all of you daily. But I get like the inbox gets really crowded, and I don't always have a chance to either answer everything or give a thorough answer to everything. But I also realize over there that there are certain things I get questioned about again and again, things you guys are really interested in. So, those are the kind of things that I picture I'm going to be talking about in these short little second episodes every week. And um, the other thing that's changing up is I guess this isn't happening right away necessarily, but I know I'm going to stop doing themed seasons. I mean, unless the reason I said think is if I get huge backlash from you guys and you like hate this idea. But here's the thing. I I struggle with there's so many content things that I want to share with you, but it doesn't fit into the current season. And one reason there's been this lag this last, I don't know, has it been 5 weeks now? Part of it's because it was the holidays for sure. Another part of it was I was sick, the family was sick. But really, the main thing was I wasn't able to line up the upcoming guests that fit into this season. And I was having to hold off because I couldn't reach them over the holidays, couldn't line up our schedules. And I'm like, there's so many other things I could be doing a podcast episode on, but it wouldn't fit in this season. So I decided, you know what? Seasons have a place, they have a great purpose. And there's a reason I do like doing seasons and themes that we put together. Um, it also really holds you back in a lot of ways. So we're not going to necessarily be sticking to seasons. It could be that we have a theme that you see a lot of in back to back episodes, but it's not going to be really strict. I'm not going to really hold the episodes accountable to one certain theme as I go. So even though the episodes aren't necessarily going to fall in a season, here's the other thing these little mini episodes, they're going to just be totally random. They're not going to relate to the episode before or after. They're just going to be something fun that I want to share or a question I want to answer. And they're not going to have any ads. These are going to be ad free, little tidbits, little bits, little answers. So I hope you like that. And this one's longer than they're typically going to be, probably because I'm sitting here talking and yapping and explaining what I'm doing. But now into the gist, the best cup of black tea. I have so many people asking me again and again for this recipe. And I have so many people reaching out to me often saying, "Thank you for this recipe. You like changed my life," or "My husband is in love with this," or, "We don't have any other iced tea in the house ever other than this." So here's the deal. I realized I wanted to improve my tea long ago, probably 6 or 7 years ago. In fact, it was really the first thing that I did on my journey towards eating better, towards better improving my pantry. I started with tea because I drink so much of it, and I realized all the reasons I didn't want the bleach tea bags, all the benefits of loose leaf tea, and there's a whole lot of them. I didn't even scratch the surface in the last episode. There's a lot of great benefits. The last episode, I had an ad for Positively Tea, and I gave you some reasons that I love their teas, but there's a whole lot more. So many reasons to go with organic loose leaf tea. So I had made this switch for years. I had been drinking really good quality teas, but then there's Bill who insists on Lipton. And every single day I'm making him another pitcher of Lipton iced tea. He really, really likes his sweet iced tea. Um, and I thought there's got to be a way I can improve this. There's got to be a way I can convict him or just convince him to stop using the Lipton tea bags and Surely I can find some really good option, alternative. So it took me a while. I talked to quite a few tea experts. I did some research. I tried different things, ordered some things, tried them out, and I finally was ready. I thought I had perfected it. And I decided I was going to serve it to Bill without telling him. Not saying, "Hey, this is something different than your regular Lipton, give it a try." Just give it to him. He never noticed it. I did that for a month without him ever noticing it, and I thought, "Okay, now I know I hit the nail on the head. I did it. I perfected it. I have an alternative to Lipton tea that is so much better, but Bill doesn't even notice a taste difference." So, here's the recipe. You need 2 different teas, Assam and Nilgiri, and I'll link to these in the description. You need 3 parts Assam to 1 part Nilgiri. And it's really, really simple. You mix them up, right? So when I order them, I literally order 3 pounds of Assam and 1 pound of Nilgiri because if you order the pound bags, it's such a huge cost savings. And then I have exactly what I need, for my 3-to-1 ratio. So I mix them all up. I store them in a canister with a sealed lid, but you could just store them in a glass jar, even like a half-gallon mason jar, whatever works for you. And then I dish it right out of there. To make a pitcher of iced tea, to make 3 quarts of sweet iced tea, I use 1.5 tablespoons of this mix, the 3 Assam to 1 Nilgiri, and I sweeten it with 1 cup of whatever sugar you want to use. I use organic cane sugar, um, but you can use maple syrup, you can use honey. If you're using either of those, you need less than a cup because they're sweeter than the cane sugar. And fill up your pitcher, your 3-quart pitcher with water. That's it. To make a cup, like a mug full of hot tea, if you have a 16-ounce mug, I typically use a tablespoon of this blend because I like my hot tea in my mug to be much richer, blacker, deeper. But you don't have to use that much. You could start with the teaspoon and see if that's enough for you. Same thing with the pitcher. You can play around with your amount. But again, I use 1.5 tablespoons of the tea blend to 3 quarts of water and add your sugar. And I use about a tablespoon to a 16-ounce cup mug for hot tea. That's it. That's all I wanted to share. I hope that some of you give it a try. Please let me know. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think because it's good stuff. I personally think it is the best cup of black tea you can have. So there you go. That's it for today, guys. Remember, it is easy to forget how blessed we are to live this life. So enjoy the simple, everyday efforts. I know it's not easy, but it's a good life.